For 25 years, Andy Wergedal has led $4 billion in projects, defended $500 million in legal disputes, and consulted with Fortune 500 companies and global agencies. But the real work, it's fixing the problems leaders can't say out loud. And his new book, 111 Leadership Exposed, is out now. So thank you for being here, Andy, and welcome to the show.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much. Let me click off the little thing here so I can see everything. Yeah. Hey, Adam, thank you so much. I usually call you AJ. Should I just call you AJ? Is that
AJ, if that's what you're used to, that's fine. Yeah, I was writing music.
By Adam, it doesn't matter to me.
My friends know me as Adam, but I was writing music as like a quasi-professional musician, and I used the name AJ Nicholas. And I wasn't sure if that should stick, but now if I change that on X, people aren't going to say, who's Adam? And they don't know, but now I don't know what to do.
I don't think it won't matter.
I can consult with you. I can get your advice.
My middle name is J too, so I'm actually AJ as well. So amazing. That's kind of funny.
Well, we'll be speaking with you off the cuff. You haven't prepped any of these questions, but I thought of some powerful questions to ask you, because as far as I can tell, you are a significant voice of wisdom. You've done consulting, and you run your chat spaces almost every day, it seems, on X, the X platform, and a lot of people are coming in there to learn, and it's a really good experience. I think the world is actually really hurting right now for good mentors, and if someone's really like a billionaire, they probably don't have time to mentor anyone, or they're not going to be. They're not going to be something
that not much. No.
Go ahead.
Yeah, they're the really rich guys that I've been exposed to. They don't have a lot of time, right? And by the way, I do my X space during my lunch hour, so it's not like I have a lot of time either. I just decided one day about a year and a half ago to just say, well, let's see if it works. And so I started talking about how to use AI in business. And I found AI John Allen, and I had him become the host. And then he hosted the show for 200 episodes, and I was the co-host. And then we did that for a while. And then his schedule got busy, so he couldn't keep going. So I decided to just keep going solo, and I'm not sure if it's good or bad, but sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's the way it is.
Well, I'm glad you're doing it. I do remember John Allen. I haven't seen him around in a while, but a great guy, and it's a real act of service that you're doing for the world. It's like a very godly thing to do, to pass the gift on of knowledge, because I think we don't have to get it into all this, but like the public school system, I think, is failing in America, and kids are not even sure which direction to go. So to have a mentor.
Are you sure?
Right.
No. Let me ask you a question. What do you think the intent of the school system is? Because you said it's failing. Well, failing according to what your perspective is, but
right. I think it's
maybe its intention. Maybe it's actually serving its intention.
That's a good point. My opinion, I went to public school in grade school, and then I went to a Catholic high school and a private college. So I was very fortunate. I did earn some scholarships, but my understanding is that the public school system operates a lot like a jail system. You go to a room and you don't leave till a bell goes off, and you go to the next room, and you go to your lunch when the bell goes off, and then it's training you to be a good worker. Or I've heard someone even take it to the extreme and say it's training you for prison. I don't know if that's a good analogy, but I think it's training people to be good workers, because you check in on time.
It is.
Yeah.
Rockefeller put this together based on the Prussian school system, and the best way to describe it is high school, all the way, the 12 years of training is blue collar employment training. And then when you leave and you go to college is white collar employment training. They teach you to work by yourself, never work with anybody else. You get in trouble if you make mistakes. You have to show up at a certain time. You have to do things a certain day. You have to sit in a certain desk. You have to follow exactly what it is. It's essentially the Hunger Games. 25 kids sit in a room. They all are competing for one person's approval. and that's the way it is. But at the end of the day, what happens is you end up with a huge entire population of people who are very good at taking instructions, who are very good at following orders, doing things, showing up on time, completing tasks as assigned. And for that purpose, it's awesome. It absolutely is fantastic.
Well, yeah.
Now, if you're going to say, how do we become leaders? How do we become entrepreneurs? How do we start? That failed, because that the mindset to become an employee, mindset to become a entrepreneur or a leader, they're different, not better or worse. And you don't need 100% leaders. You definitely don't need 100% followers.
Mm-hmm.
But what is it? 3, 5, 10, 15%, something around there. So that's why you have some 3, 4, 5, 10% of the students. What is the old A students work for the government. B students work for the C students who own all the companies.
That's funny. Well, I also notice if you don't succeed in high school, what do you get? You get an F, a fail. And if you don't succeed in the workplace, you get an F, you get fired, right? So we're always trying to avoid getting the F. And some people work to it. They don't work so much. Go ahead.
You know what's funny? When I take on clients, when I take on founders to coach or to mentor, or when I talk to groups of people, the ones that make the most difference are the ones who got fired, who tried something new, who went outside the boundaries, who have taken the big risk and totally fell on their face.
I love it.
They're the ones who succeed, right?
Yeah.
If you look through history at anyone who was massively successful immediately and did not have a failure,
right?
I don't know of any, like zero. Like there are no examples that I can find. I'm sure that I'm wrong, right? But for the most part, either you succeed to a certain point and you follow the rules and follow the game plan that they give you, and you are successful in that definition.
Sure.
Or you go outside the definition and come up with something new, and most people fail. In fact, most founders cycle 2-3 times. Myron Golden says it. He goes,
I like Myron.
He says most wealthy people had to get rich twice. The first time you get rich, you buy all this extra stuff, and then you realize, oh, that's unsustainable. I can't do that.
Yeah.
And then you crash and burn. And then the second time you get wealthy, you start building the little money management machine that just makes little baby money, makes little more baby money, which makes little more baby money. And then you live off the extras, and your live off your extra life is like 1,000,000 times better than your other lives. So that kind of crazy. The education system is not failing. It's not failing to produce workers.
It's doing what it was designed
succeeding in producing
what it was designed to do. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good way to look at it. And I know I'm going through my own little crash and burn Phoenix cycle, where I think I mentioned this in the chat space the other day. I could have close to $100,000 saved right now. Coulda, shoulda, woulda, but made some dumb investing decisions in the stock market. I got crypto scammed, and then I made a purchase for my property that was borderline scammy, and I'm in a legal thing about that right now. And I think, okay, this is normal for an entrepreneur. You make some money, you dip, and then you get wiser the next time around. So I figure
at the end of the day, when we all pass away, what do we leave anyway? What do we take with us?
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
So who cares? I mean, who cares if you win big? Awesome. People look at you and go, I want to be like you. And if you fail big, people go, ooh, I don't want to be like that guy. If you win or you lose, nobody cares. And by the way, the answer is nobody's keeping score except for you.
True.
Maybe your wife, maybe your family.
Right.
Listen, if I was never on a space and I was never talking about stuff, you and I would have never met, probably.
Very true. And there's And if I hadn't crashed and burned, I would think I'm so successful with my $100,000 saved, and I wouldn't be seeking out mentors probably. I think I've arrived with 100K in the bank, which is maybe for you and a lot of others, that's small potatoes.
Have you ever had $100,000 check?
No, I have not.
Have you ever worked and they've gone, there you go, here's your check, and you take your $100,000 check to the bank?
The most ever in a one payment I got was eight grand. Not for speaking, not for public speaking. It was for renting out my rentals to a major company who was running like a kind of like a Tony Robbins rah event out here, and they booked out my entire building for their staff. They were called Summit Series, and they booked out my whole property. They even asked me to move out to a hotel. They paid for me to have a staycation because they wanted to rent my unit to my home, and I said okay. And I took out some of my important personal items. And I let them do it for the price that we had negotiated. I said okay. So $8 grand was my biggest check ever.
Okay, cool.
Not 100.
The point is, there are people who walk around who get $100,000 checks every month. There are some people who get $100,000 checks every week. There are some people that get $100,000 checks every day.
I think that's Myron Golden's minimum for speaking now. I think Myron, what is Myron charging? Something like that, crazy like that. No. For
but he's worth it, right? It's a lot. And here's the part that you got to put in your brain. Okay. You're no different than Myron. You're no different than Tony Robbins. You're no different than Alex Hormozi. You're no different than Gary Vee. They get up and have to go to the bathroom every now and then, and eat something bad and have diarrhea and vomiting and feel like crap. They get a cold every now and then. They're just humans. They were born with nothing. They will die and leave nothing. They will take nothing with them. Who cares? What is it? Right. What's the big deal? Right. And here's the other thing, right? Okay. Here's a $2 bill. It's a $2 bill, right? And the only reason I like them, I think they're cool, right?
Me too.
But you know why I keep it on my desk? I keep it on my desk because of this. I saw this really cool thing. The guy goes, here's $20. It's on the desk. He says, what does it think of you? Nothing. It's a $20 bill. And he goes, what's the difference between a $20 or $2 bill, a $20 bill, and a hammer? Well, you can buy stuff with this one. And he goes, but you can build something. You can use it to break stuff. You can use a hammer to build stuff. You use a hammer to break stuff. What's the difference? It's just a tool. It's just a tool. So if you think a $2 bill is different than a hammer, or a $20 bill or a $100 bill, it's different than a hammer. It doesn't think anything of me. It doesn't matter. It doesn't care. It has no value. It has no impact, right? If you owe a lot of debt, so what, right? One speaking gig, write a check, pay it off. Okay. Alex Hormozi said, somebody asked him, well, how do you make $100,000 a year, right? And mm-hmm. They were thinking, like, big deal. He's going to tell them. And he goes, I'd figure out how to sell something for like $1 million and get a 10% commission. And then I'd figure out what to do for the rest of the year.
Wow. High-end sales.
Aren't there people that sell airplanes?
Yes, there are.
Aren't there people that sell cars? Aren't there people that sell houses? Aren't there people that sell properties, sell businesses, sell coaching? Right? The key word there is sales. You sell something of value. And remember, everybody wants a bargain. So if you sell a $10 million thing for $1 million and get a 10% commission, the guy wants the $10 million thing for $1 million. He'll pay you the $1 million. Right?
Yeah. And you can just keep repeating, rinse and repeat. Go ahead.
Your properties are worth tens of thousands or $100,000 ish, right? Something, right? Most houses are worth 100 grand or more. Okay. Ish, right? Mm-hmm. Which means if you just sold it and you got a commission for selling it, you'd make some amount of money based on that. Right? That's, real estate agents Everybody just sells stuff at a bargain to somebody else who needs the value that they're getting.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'll give you 2 examples. Okay. I sell my company, 11th Street Consulting. I sell project management services, project management, program management, executive counseling. Okay. I sell that service to companies to run 5, 10, 15, 20, $100 million projects. Right. So they have a $20 million project. They're going to spend $20 million on this project over 5 years. And they need to pay a couple of $100,000 to get somebody or whatever. So they hire me or my company or my firm or whatever I want to provide for that. And I help them manage their project to deliver.
Mm-hmm.
They're buying a $2 million, $20 million, $10 million thing. And part of the cost is somebody else to manage it because they don't have time or experience or whatever to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When I sell coaching, I usually sell coaching like this. You're a founder and you have a problem with your team delivering. Okay. If your team breaks up and leaves, you have to go find more people, and that costs you about 30 to 40% of the additional cost to get somebody. So if you're going to go buy $100,000 or $150,000, $75 an hour is a developer. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
75 to 150 bucks an hour, 150,000 to 300,000 a year to get a new developer. Okay. That's about what it costs.
Mm-hmm.
So I say, pay me 60,000, 5,000 a month. I will help you run and manage the team. Just run and manage the team so your team stays together and manages, so you don't have to go out and spend another $60,000 a year to replace one of the $150,000 guys.
Right.
You have a team of 5 people, start adding it up. 150, 150, 150, 150, 150. You know what I mean? And you go,
Yes.
Look, for 5 or 10,000 a month, I will help you keep the team running, and you don't have to deal with all of that. I'll help you. I'll just guide the teams on what to do. Done.
And that leads me to a question now. So we're talking about leading the teams and how you're consulting them. I remember from one of your chat spaces, and I think this is in your book, the 111 Leadership Exposed, micromanaging, right? So you've been doing what you're doing for 25 years. And I would love it if you share the story about when you realized you were micromanaging. I think you were riding in a car or share like it was kind of
it's the first story.
Oh, it is.
Sorry. It's the first. Okay. It's the first story in the book. Okay. So what happened was I was promoted from being an engineer to being a developing engineer to being a project manager. I didn't know what to do. Right. And the guy said, okay, look, we need you to either be the architect or a project manager. And I was like, what the heck is those? I don't even know what that is. Right. And he goes, okay, well, you're going to do this part. Okay, fine. Got it. Okay. I can do that. I think I can do that. And I thought that being a project manager was like being the captain of a Star Trek, the Enterprise. Okay. Captain Kirk knows everything about every environment, about every system. He knows about how this works and the communication and the phasers, and he knows everything. You know, the next Captain Picard, he knew about it. That's crap. I thought I had to do that. So I went, studied everything about everything that was going on with the project to the point where I knew everything I could possibly know about everything. And I was operating in that mode. Okay. So in that mode, I'm in the car. We're on our way to dinner. We left the office. We're going to dinner. We were working 12, 14 hours a day. We're all going to go meet. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
So we're all going to go meet for dinner. And so we jump in the car. I'm in the back seat and I go, hey, we're going to have to turn left. You might want to get in the other lane and blah, blah, blah. And the guy in the front seat looks back and he goes, micro, we got it. And I was like, oh, God, such an idiot. and I realized first I was like, what? Oh,
because you know these streets, you know how to save them time, and time is money.
But like they can't get to the restaurant on their own. Really, I have to what lane to get in.
Right.
I'm the idiot. I'm the stupid one. And it happened on like my first big project that
Oh,
I
wow.
was put as a project manager. And I realized that's not the way to do it. That's just not the way to go about it. And so it's taken, that was the first step. It's taken many, many, many more steps for me to hands off the wheel kind of person.
Well, yeah.
And it's really hard for me. I want to
Right.
know everything. I give me the details. I got it, man. I can
love it.
handle just large amounts of information, and I love it.
Well, now if you have
But I
like,
had to learn how to.
I was going to say, literally now if you have like a Tesla, you can literally be hands off the wheel and let the AI take you there, like on the fastest
Yeah,
route. Speaking
I
of
have
which,
one. I have a
oh,
Tesla.
my,
I have a Tesla, and
the X.
you put it on the highway and you just put it into auto mode, and it'll just go. It'll just.
Yeah, I'd love to get
Crazy.
one. My dad has one too, and then my dad also, he's big on Tesla stock. But we go for rides in his Tesla when I visit him in California. It's a lot of fun. What an amazing car. But speaking of AI now, with like Tesla, everyone knows AI is advancing really fast, and I've heard it said that AI won't take your job, but people who learn how to use AI will do better than people who don't know how to use AI. So I was wondering, what were your thoughts on that? And if you don't mind sharing, maybe how is AI helping you in your business, or if that's too much personal stuff with how you run your business, I don't know.
No, yeah. Well, Elon calls AI the supersonic tsunami. And the way I used to describe it when John and I were doing the AI Biz Hour show was it's a tidal wave. You're either going to surf it and know how to use or you are going to have to swim in it after it crushes you, or it's going to crush you. And the answer is I don't really know. I don't know if AI is going to. Well, first of all, you're going to use it because it's extremely useful. Okay. Number two, how do you use it? I don't know. I've talked to them for lots of hours. I've used them to rewrite things. I built a huge set of prompts. So I have a one of my newsletters is called the Brand Blueprint Engine, and it is an AI editing system. Uh, it'll take your personalize your voice, customized to your audience, and talking about either the problem that you want to solve or your superpower that you solve things with, and then create 30 days worth of prompts of ideas to talk about. And then it will take those ideas and your concepts and your voice and your audience, and then it will edit what you said in your best possible voice to produce the best possible content from you. So that's one way that I use AI.
Incredible. That's the
So
brand blueprint engine.
the Brand Blueprint Engine.
I
Yeah,
remember
if
seeing that.
you go there, you can if you go to my X profile, there's the Brand Blueprint Builders is my group, and then in my bio it has Andy Unfiltered, and I have another blog that I use to prove all this out called 40 by 50 40x50.com, which is started all of this craziness. It's almost 2.7 million page views now.
Wow.
I used AI. I used it to proof and to create all of the content. I write the content. It does the editing. So I make the ideas. I take the ideas. I expand them, and then I have it edit. I was listening to Robert Kiyosaki, right, the Rich Dad Poor Dad guy.
Oh yeah.
And he said, my editor said this, and I wrote this, and then Hormozi, who, by the way, I'm a huge Alex Hormozi fanboy. I have.
Oh wow, look at that.
Read it.
Yep.
So I do that all the time. Come on, little camera. There you go.
go.
Okay.
Awesome.
The he said, I did 13 versions of this book with my editor. And it all of a sudden it occurred to me, everyone's got an editor. I can't afford to hire O'Reilly or Simon and Schuster or these. So I thought, I got $20 a month. I can try to create an AI editor. And so I started off by saying, pretend you are one of those guys and edit my stuff as if you're one of those guys and tell me how you did it.
Incredible.
And then I just refined everything that way. And then I turned it into my own editing prompts.
Now that is a genius use of AI, and it reminds me, AI. I used it for some very basic things, like I play a Sunday trivia game with friends where we pick a topic, and then one person's a quiz master, and they come up with 20 questions. And I used to go search Wikipedia, but now I'm like, wait a minute, I can just ask Grok, generate 20 trivia questions for me, and then I go look up the answers. Right. And I thought, wait, I can ask Grok also generate the answers and save me a lot of time. And then I had a legal thing, and I said, Grok, help me prepare a motion like you're my lawyer. And that was probably the most valuable thing. It's probably saved me thousands of dollars with legal fees.
But you got to be careful with. You have to be careful with AI because it will hallucinate. It will make things up.
Yes.
So you have to validate it. However, if you just remember that, then it's probably okay.
Yeah, I cross-referenced. I went ahead and looked up all the case law. If it cited a case law, I would go plug it into Google and say, is this a real case law precedent? And try to verify it a couple ways. And then I did actually remove a couple things, come to think of it.
Here's the best way I've imagined how to use AI. Okay. Right. 3 steps. The first step is you say, I want to do this thing, right? So you have a topic, right? So the 1-1-1, one solution for one problem for one group of people. 1-1-1, one problem, one solution, one group of people. Okay. So then you say, I have this problem. I'm going to do this solution for this one group of people. Help me write this the best way possible using my voice. Ask me as many questions as you want until you can get a voice print of me. If you want me to describe something, if you want me to record it, you want me to transcribe it, tell me what to do. And it said, well, just, tell me the story. So I told it the story about, okay, I got it. Got your voice print. Okay. Wow. Okay, now list out the voice print in a prompt so I can reproduce it anytime I want. Step 1. Step 2 is every time I come up with a way to talk about my solution for the one problem, I run it through the prompt. Okay. Step 2. 1, make a prompt that says, here's how Andy talks. Here's how A talks. Here's how Adam talks, right? And then second, here's me doing a solution. Third, edit it. Okay, edit it in my voice, make it the best possible way. Okay, now here's the super secret. Ready? Whatever it output is what it thinks is the best version of you talking, right? So just print it out and read it out loud to yourself about 10 times. So now what happens is your thoughts through your voice get edited by the expert in the best possible version of you. So now you can train yourself to talk like the best version of you by just repeating what it wrote to yourself over and over and over again.
Amazing.
Do that for 100 days. Write a paragraph about whatever your problem is. Do the process. Create an editing. Talk like Andy. Andy's talking. Edit it to make it the best version of Andy, and then Andy reads it to myself again.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow I do the same thing. And what happens is after a couple of months, everything I say comes out almost exactly the way it would edit it.
And then when those topics,
because I'm now training my brain to speak in the best possible way of my voice.
Well, then I would imagine when those topics come up in like a consulting, you've already got your answer down pat because you've committed it to memory. If you're reading it 10 times,
it's more, well, some people are like a record. I call them record players, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like a jukebox.
Mm-hmm.
Push a button, ask a question, push a button, boom, answer.
Mm-hmm.
Right? For me, it's, if you've noticed, I always answer the same kind of way. I speak about the same cadence of time. I say about the same number of words per sentence.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always like this. Boom, 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 pow. Boom, 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 pow. Boom,
Mm-hmm.
boom, body shot,
I remember
pow,
that. Yeah.
Right? Every time I talk, in fact, take the transcription of this. It's 3 words, 4 words, 3 words, 4 words, 5 words, 6 words, boom. Drop a big mic drop.
Mm-hmm.
And I do that because that's the most effective way to communicate. That's the most effective way for me to write. That's what the editing has done. That's what produces the highest level of engagement on X, on talking, on spaces, when I'm a host, when I'm a guest, when I'm a co-host, when I'm on a podcast, when I'm on a YouTube, when I'm live.
Mm-hmm. I love
it. It's the best way. And so I just trained myself to be the best version of me. So now it doesn't matter what topic I speak.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just keep hitting it the same way, the same structure, the same process, over and over and over again.
I love it. Okay, so I have another question for you. This just to change gears a little, but this one I think it's a pretty powerful. You've been doing what you're doing for 25 years. So I think if anyone's been in business for even a few years, eventually someone is going to do you dirty or they're going to screw you in a business deal. Could you reflect and share a time when someone did you wrong in a business deal? What happened? How did you handle it? Did you forgive them? How did you do that? And what did you learn from it?
Are you asking me, would I push people down cement stairs in a concrete building?
I mean, we've all fantasized about that, right?
Not no. So here's what typically happens.
Mm-hmm.
I get hired, or they hire my company to help them solve their problems, right? There are only 2 kinds of problems that I solve. The first problem is they want the project done. The second one is they want someone to blame if the project doesn't get done.
Mm-hmm.
I've been both.
Mm.
I used to get mad. I used to get frustrated and upset when the second situation happened. Oh, the project's not going very well. Oh, they're gonna blame me,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not my fault. I didn't do anything wrong. No, it finally occurred to me. You were only hired to do that work as the relief valve or the safety chute to save someone's career. When everything went sideways, they're going to blame you. So after a few years because I've been independent for a long time, right? Mm-hmm. So you get hired on to help a really big company. I was going to use names. Let's just say giant company A and giant company B, and then little tiny Andy comes in and helps. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, who's going to get the hammer if it goes bad? Yeah. Andy.
Sure.
They're going to yell at that person, and they're going to go, well, we hired this contractor guy. We're going to get rid of him.
We took his advice.
Right. Okay. When I finally, after thinking about it, now I go in and I tell them, hey, listen, I'm here to help. I can help you in 3 different ways. I can help you succeed the project. We can help you build the team. I can help coach all of your people and make things better. And I'm also totally okay with the idea that if things go sideways, that I'm here to save your career. So if it's going to go bad, I will make sure that we have set up everything so that it shows all of the right documentation. It shows all the right details. It shows all of the plans necessary for you to blame someone so that you don't get the hammer and you don't get fired. You want to know where my best references come from? Those guys.
Those ones. Yeah.
And ladies. Because I understood the assignment from day one. And so have I been done dirty? Of course. Have I been screwed over? Absolutely. But what they failed to realize was I knew that was the game going in. Right? If you go into the championship game in big, high stakes, whatever, you don't think that there's more than one play going on at a time. You think that the first and only scenario is we're going to come in and everyone's going to work together to make the project successful. You're not thinking with your whole brain.
Backstabbers,
you're thinking with this much of it.
Lazy people that just want to climb the ladder and cut throats.
No, it's none of that.
Oh,
it's none of that. It's more like this. Okay. This person wants to become the director, and this person wants to become the vice president, and this person wants to become the president of the company. But this guy also wants to be the vice president, and this guy wants to be the senior vice president, and there's only a certain number of chairs in the organization. And so what happens is they're on way to, because they chose the right team, and they're going to blah, 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 blah. As soon as it turns sideways, now this guy gets ahead, and instead of them going sideways, they go, well, here's what we're going to do. If we shut down the entire project and we blame the contractors, we'll save the company $25 million and look like heroes. And then I get back ahead again. It's more like that.
Fascinating.
And people have three different motivations. The first motivation is they want power. They want to be the one to make the decision. And the second one is they want status. I'm the one who wants the title. And the third one is just give me the money. So you got to figure out when you do your stakeholder management, what each person's motivation is. This person just wants their title. Cool. Let's make sure that they don't ever lose their title and they get the next promotion. The next person wants power. They don't care about the title as long as they get to be the one that does the gatekeeping and control the sign-off. And that guy over there, he doesn't care as long as they pay his invoice. Once you figure it out, it's not that hard to figure out how to help the team be successful.
Right.
And there really isn't any third ones. Because if you look at anything outside of the kind of the work environment, it all comes down to power or status or money. And power can take lots of forms. I can yell at you. You can't do anything. Status. I'm more important than you. Okay. By the way, status is the one that destroys more people than anything else. Destroys more executives because of status than any other reason by far. And the reason is because status is a no-win game. Because every time you do status, what you're trying to do is you're trying to establish kind of like stacking plates, right? You get done with dinner and you stack all the plates up. Which one's on top? Only one can be on top. But in reality, they're just laying all over the counter, right? They're not all stacked up. And so if you try to status stack everything, you're going to fail because one person is just going to go, I'm not playing that game. I'm going to just be over there. You can put me wherever you want. I don't care. I'm still going to hold off your moving to production when I sign off.
Somebody with no ego.
No status ego.
No status.
Power ego, but not status ego, right? Their feeling of importance comes because they're the ones who sign off. It doesn't go to production until they say okay. Right? And some people are like, I don't care as long as you bill. Oh, well, if we don't get it in by Friday, we're not going to pay the invoices. Guess what? You better put it in on Friday.
Right.
They can, because that's their motivation. Each person has a different motivation. And so you've got that dynamic happening. Plus you have the dynamic of how each one of those play in an organization. And then you have the dynamic of actually, delivering software or changes or getting an organization to adopt something different. So you've got all of that in play all at the same time.
Fascinating. I'm sure our listeners are definitely learning a lot. I know I am. And I wanted to ask you about the writing process for your new book, The 111 Leadership Exposed. It seems to me, I've seen it on your social media, and I'd actually like to order a copy. It seems like it's snippets of wisdom that were accumulated over the years. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but it's 75 like mini chapters or mini lessons. Did you just journal?
One page, 5 pages. It's a question.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the answer to the question. Here's the answer. Here's why. Here's a question for you to think about why it happened. Here's the description of probably why it's happening. And here's some actionable steps to take.
Mm-hmm.
And I started by just taking, I have these are project books that I just keep notes in for every project. I have one.
Okay.
And I have boxes of them. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I also have them in different sizes based on different projects. And I've used different size notebooks all over the time. I just went through them and went, oh God. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. I remember that. And I just started writing down ideas, put them into my LLM and said, okay, ask me one at a time. And then I just started answering. And I said, okay, just record what I answered. And eventually I just hit the record button and just did the whole answers. Then the second step was to go back and say, yeah, just one dump isn't enough. Just like one thought. Okay, this happened, blah. Yeah, okay. What people are really looking for is what do I do with it? If I have this problem, why is it happening and what do I do with it? Because if why it's happening isn't the same why that happened to me, mm-hmm. Maybe it doesn't help you, right? Mm-hmm. So I just tried to say, this is what they said, this is what I said, this is what I experienced. This is the answer of what was happening. Here's what I need to think about. Change my mind, think of it this way. And then the next one was, why did all this stuff happen? Blah, 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 blah. And then, okay, what do I do about it? Actions. So then I took actions. I had to rewrite about a third of it because the end result is fine, but the method to get there has changed over the years, right? We've got HR policies and you can't just fire somebody. You got to, you have to go through a process, and every organization, every jurisdiction, every state, every location, every company, everything is slightly different. So you have to follow all your rules. So instead of just going, okay, when they do this and they're disrespectful and you give them a chance and they still are disrespectful, you fire them on the spot in front of everybody. You still have to do that. But you might have to follow your HR policy and procedure. You may have to do a bunch of, so I had to rewrite a bunch of stuff like that. But otherwise, the idea is the same, right? Like if you have two co-founders and in the meeting, you're interrupting each other, giving contrasting points of view and differing direction to everyone, including the client, which by the way, totally happened to me. I am guilty of this. And when I recognized it, I realized, shut up. It doesn't matter what I say. Like, let's go through that with the client, fix the client's problem. And then afterwards, I'll talk to the other co-founder and say, how do we go about this? What do we fix? How do we resolve this? And turns out at the end of the day on that one, one person has to be in charge. It was my fault for setting up a company that was 50-50. Don't do that, right? One person, one voice, one leader, right? There's one captain of a ship.
Mm-hmm.
Period. There's one head coach. Every time they go, we're gonna be the co-presidents of the co-CEO of the company. I'm like, that company's gonna crash and burn.
Doesn't work.
Yeah, because there has to be one vision, one leadership method.
Yeah.
And so, I actually went through that. I was the person, looking back on it, I was the one causing problems. Mm-hmm. We disagreed. I handled it badly. And I said, okay, let me fix this. We ended up fixing it, right? But yeah, almost everything in the book is because personal experience. Either I helped somebody through it, I watched them go through it while trying to help them and they didn't take my advice, or it was me. Most of them, it's me. Frankly, you read it and think, is this Andy? Yeah, probably. The answer is, yeah, I'm the idiot who did the thing.
Yeah, they say.
But that's why I'm able to help today, because I did the stupid things.
Right. You remind me of the expression, if something goes right, we did it. If something goes wrong, I did it. Or how can I take responsibility? How can I perform better?
Right. Well, the way I look at it is, if we succeed, the team did great. Mm-hmm. If we failed, I failed as a leader.
I love it.
If the team screwed up, it's because I failed as a leader. I didn't train him enough. I didn't teach him enough. I didn't give him enough. I could have done better. I could have helped them see more. I could have done 100 different things. But if the team totally screws up, it's my fault. And if it's a bad team, it's still my fault, because I could have changed the team anytime I wanted to. Awesome. Still my fault.
Well, I have maybe two more serious questions to ask, and then one fun question to ask you at the end. And if there's anything else you want to add in, please do. I don't want to take the attention off of your book, but what are some of your favorite books that have stuck with you or guided you in your journey through business and life? I know earlier you mentioned Robert Kiyosaki, and I've read The Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I've read Before You Quit Your Job. I've got some Brian Tracy. Okay, I think I love it. You're grabbing stuff. It's right behind you, ready to go. Here we go. Here's the meat. Take your time.
This is the first one.
Okay.
The Bible. This is the first. This is the first book you should read, right? Yep. Right. This is the first one. This is a great book. Never Split the Difference with Chris Voss. This is fantastic.
I've heard of it.
This is one of my favorite books. It's called The Right Side of the Equation by Judd Boyce.
Okay.
Judd's a friend of mine. Fantastic book. Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yep.
Success Principles by Jack Canfield. Also wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul.
Yep.
This is an underrated book. It's called The Popularity Game by John T. Malloy, the guy that wrote Dress for Success. He wrote this book. It's called The Popularity Game. This book will teach you how to be likable. It will teach you that charm and persuasion is a switch that can turn on and off. This is the book that will teach you how to do it. I use every one of these methods in this book every single day.
Okay. That sounds really
good. And if you want to do online launches, Launch by Jeff Walker.
Okay.
And then of course, I've got all of Alex Hormozi's books. Right. So you can't see him, sorry, but $100 million offer.
Awesome.
And then if you there are more books. Okay, if I go like this, how about if I go this way?
Yeah.
There are way more books back here. And Gary V's Day Trading Attention is fantastic. There's so many books. Who Not How. Anyway, there's just so many books. I love it. Like I said, that
one looks riveting to me, and you've told me on it. And a couple of those you showed me I'd never heard of before. So that's good information.
These are fantastic. You know what else is a great book is Patrick Bet-David's
Choose Your Enemies Wisely.
Choose Your Enemy and the Next 5 Steps. Yeah.
I did the Choose Your Enemies on on Audible, and I would drive. I do a 1
Oh
hour
yeah.
drive a couple times a month, and that's my an hour each way to get a good audiobook in my brain. Well, wonderful.
There's also another couple books. Robert Greene's books, 48 Laws of Power, The Art of Seduction. They're fantastic.
Awesome.
But yeah, you should, if you want to be in leadership, you should, listen. If you're good, the way I look at leadership is like putting on shoulder pads. It's a mantle that you carry. Okay, you don't use it, but you take on the yoke of leadership. And the only way to survive is to learn from other people who've done the same thing. Is it worth it? Most people know, frankly, it's not worth it. But for some people who maybe you're like me, and you're fascinated by human beings and you want them to succeed. And when the team succeeds, that little happy burning joy is worth more than you can ever get any other way. If you're cursed to have, or blessed, however you want to say it, but if you have that, then it is a disservice to the people you serve not to become the best version of yourself.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, a lot of great books. You should listen. Here's the cool thing. Every one of these authors spent their time and their effort and their brain power to put every ounce of everything they had into every word possible, as many times as it took. It's hard for me to do that in a talk, right? The words in the book are curated and tried and gone over multiple times, and they are extracting all of the extra. The computer says fluff. Yeah, kind of, but if it doesn't help, if it's not the meat, if it's not the hammer, it's just air. All the air is taken out, and it's just you just get direct hammer the entire time. If you're not interested in that, at the beginning, the book says, if you're not ready, don't read it, right? Don't, because essentially every single page says the same thing. You're the leader. It's your fault. Right. This is happening because you failed. Yep. And this is how you failed, and this is what you do to fix it. So, and the first pass of the book was 150 pages, but 150 of them, these are teams and leaders and structure and plans and how to build it. And some of the other ones are other topics. Well, I'll build a different book later, but I narrowed it down to these. It was like 30, and then I made it 100, and then I made, so I went through this 13, 14 times.
Wow.
And version 13, I think, or 14 is the one that we ended up just deciding that's the one that's good enough to publish. I mean, you could do it 100 more times and it would be incrementally better every time. To what degree? 1% better?
Right.
Percent better?
Diminishing return.
Percent better?
Yeah. Yeah.
The goal was to write a book by the end of the year. So I did, and I published it. So that was my goal.
I love it. I just interviewed my mother, actually. She and my dad co-authored a book, and they spent 7 years on it. They were actually transcribing love letters that they had from a long time ago, and then chronicling that against the Vietnam War and their experience at university at the time. And after 7 years, they said, let's just get it published, and they self-published it. But it was something good for them to do in their retirement. I want to ask you if you could So one more serious question, then a fun question, and anything else you want to share. If you could give one piece of wisdom to the younger generation, especially people looking to start their own business, what would that be? Assuming you're maybe in an elevator and you've got 30 seconds to a minute to impart the wisdom.
If you want to start your own business, awesome. Congratulations. Find the audience first. That's my, if you want to start your business, fish where the fish are. Go find the fish first, right? My dad's a big fisherman. I grew up fishing. You can't fish in the desert. Doesn't matter how much equipment you buy. Doesn't matter how cool your boat is. Doesn't matter what kind of lures you got or bait. There's no water. There's no fish. There's no fish. You're not catching nothing, right? You got to go where the fish are.
Right.
So the first and most important thing is find the audience first.
It's a beautiful analogy. And I live in the desert. But I also live by a lake, and we do have some fishing out here by the lake, but not in my backyard, though.
You know what I mean, right?
I do, yeah.
People get in here to take it one more step. People get in business and they decide they're going to get an office and a chair and a secretary. It would be like me going fishing. I go down to the local, sporting goods, and I buy a boat, and I buy a life preserver, and I buy a tackle box, and I buy all kinds of fishing, fishing poles, and I get all the fishing line, and I get the right hooks, and I get all kinds of lures. Whatever. I drive out in the middle of the desert, and I drop my boat off in the dirt, and I start fishing.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
Go find fish. And by the way, use the fishing analogy all the time. Here's how it works. You're driving along and you think, maybe there's some guys fishing. They probably know where the fish are. Hey, what are you using? What are you catching? What are they biting on today? Mm-hmm. Fishermen will tell you, because they know, even if you have exactly the right thing and you do the right stuff and you stand right next to them, you're probably not catching any more than they are. Mm. And if they start catching fish, you'll catch fish. So go where the fish are. Ask the people who are already there. What are they buying? What are they using? What are you catching? They will tell you everything. And then just go do the exact same thing. There's no unicorns. There's no super special. Nobody's awesomeness. Mm-hmm. I mean, Uber came from taxis.
Right.
Lyft came from Uber. Airbnb came from hotels, from motels. It came from hotels. The key is finding the audience first. Go where the fish are. If there's a bunch of fish there, there's also a bunch of people fishing there. Go find the fish, right? If you're going to start a business, that's the most important thing.
That's actually very telling. And I'm looking at my own business, right? I have my fourplex property, made really nice units. It's just in the middle of, we call it the middle of nowhere, but the center of everything, because it's desert, but the Grand Canyon's here, Lake Powell's here, Zion is over there, a slot canyon called Antelope, which is famous, is nearby. And my building does cash flow, but it doesn't cash flow year round. We have feast in the summer and famine in the winter. And it's like, I need the fish to kind of come to me. If people are traveling through and the hotels are full, they're definitely booking at my vacation rentals. But if they're weighing, do we want a cheap hotel and save money? Do we want a kitchen and a laundry room? We'll wash the clothes and let the kids watch TV and play in the backyard. How do we, so I hear what you're saying.
Why don't you just, in the wintertime, just head to head or go even less with the hotel, right? With the motels.
Yeah. So I will price match them. And then this is also my hobby time for writing music, learning a new skill. And right now it's growing the YouTube channel and interviewing interesting, amazing people like yourself. So this is my time to to do that.
The point is, you mentioned people are always going to those places. You need to get in front of the people who are going to those places and go, by the way, you can stay here.
Yep.
And here's how you can get there from here, right? Anyway.
Yeah. I probably do need to buy some more advertising in strategic places, come to think of it. Okay, so I have a fun question for you. We were both swimmers back in the day, or you still are, swim team. So I wanted to ask you, did you have a favorite event or a favorite stroke? I mean, for me,
I was a sprinter.
Yeah.
I was a 50 and 100 free sprinter. I swam the IM and butterfly, but mostly freestyle sprints.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I like freestyle. The 50 freestyle was one of my favorite things. I think the only time I remember significantly winning a heat was breaststroke for some odd reason, and I actually hate doing backstroke. I hate not seeing where I'm going. And then waiting for the flag and then doing your flip turn and hoping you're not going to bang your feet on the wall. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, banging your heels on the wall, that's,
Ooh.
if you haven't done that, you're not a swimmer.
Yeah. Yeah, right. But best shape of my life. Got to jump in a pool with co-ed, and the girls are all in their swimsuits. And so those were good times. Is there anything else you wanted to share or talk about?
Well, yes. Let's do one more thing. Okay. If you're listening and you've listened this far, here's what I recommend everyone do. Okay. Number one, create a social media presence and build a personal brand. And the reason you need to do it now, like today, yesterday was better than today, but today is better than tomorrow. And here's why. AI is coming and you can't stop it. You cannot put the genie back in the bottle. And what's going to happen is they're going to see these recordings. They're going to record me. They're going to take a picture of my face. They're going to take my voice. They're going to take my cadence and the way that I talk, and they're going to be able to produce more content like me, and you won't be able to tell the difference. All right? Except I have hundreds of hours of doing this, and you can tell if I'm real or not based on who I've been in the past. The reason you need to start a personal brand right now is so that at some point in the future, one day, 1 month, 1 year, 1 decade from now, when they can reproduce anybody at any time for any reason, that you have proof you were who you say you were back, that nobody can go back and say it was faked back then too.
Genius.
So you should start a personal brand immediately. Every single person listening to this, everyone who hears this, every recording you ever heard from this, you should start a personal brand right away. Talk about the things that you like and be the fumbling, bumbling, imperfect human.
Mm-hmm.
Cough, pull up your coffee, drink your things, drop your pen, make your camera go sideways. Because these are the things that prove you're human, mm-hmm. not just some recorded bot.
Right.
And you may not hear it yet, but mm-hmm. just put this in your brain. Within 6 months to a year from now, this is my prediction, at the end of 2026, you will not be able to tell a picture or a video or a song or a sound or an audio if it's real or if it's AI generated. You will not be able to tell the difference.
I actually totally agree.
And I don't mean that like, oh, well, of course, that's Andy's picture. No. I can create a picture of anything. You can't tell if I took the picture with my phone or if I said, here's a picture of something, or if I just created one with a prompt. You can't tell the difference. And every single day from now going forward means every single thing you hear, you're going to start to think, is it AI? Was it generated or not? Is it not? Okay. And every day that 1% is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger to the point where you go, I don't trust anything at all.
Wow. Did you know, on that topic, there was a survey done about a year ago? So I write music as like a professional hobby, if that's a thing.
Yep.
They surveyed music aficionados and asked them, if you had the opportunity to listen to a song that was totally AI generated, would you listen to it if you knew it was AI? 90% of the people in that survey said, no, I wouldn't want to listen if I knew it was AI. But then they tested their ears and they gave them some songs to listen to, and only 60% of them could tell if it was AI or not. So almost 50-50, you can't tell.
Well, right. And today you can't tell.
Yeah.
You can't tell, because
we posted a video about that.
Right. Well, here's okay. So in the production area, if I took a raw stem of any of the kind of music and I run it through any type of AI, I can put in room ambiance. You put in whatever kind of treatment to the sound.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference between me playing a guitar, running it through a pedal board, and it treats the sound to come out of a speaker, or I plug it directly into a computer and I say, do this, add this compressor and this phaser to it and whatever, and I play my guitar and I do that, or I say, here's my sample, and then take that and then just use my keyboard to play out some other. What's the difference?
Or just use their voice. Yeah. People are literally going da 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 into their computer. It'll take their voice and turn that into the instrument. It's fascinating.
Yes.
So
yeah, it is.
It's also exciting.
And yes. However, there are certain old recordings, like, by the way, have you heard like where they did like Frank Sinatra does Eminem, or Eminem's?
Yes, I have.
Eminem song at like a 60s kind of, like a.
You think you're listening to a classic Sinatra song, and all of a sudden he drops an F-bomb and talks about smacking his you-know-what or something, like beating his wife or something. Yeah, it's crazy.
Or all of a sudden the orchestra shifts and now it's, it's like got a Latin kind of, current beat. It's
sure, but that'll sell. It's new.
You're not going to. Well, it's great and it's amazing and it's music and it's wonderful. But here's the problem. You can't tell the difference, and nor should you, because if you think about it, originally we would play an instrument, then we did amplification where we could make it sound better. Then we put circuits in the middle to make it change the sound. Mm-hmm. Eddie Van Halen would be nothing without, a couple of Voxes and a compressor and a phaser. It doesn't sound like,
right.
But with those tools, amazing. The dude's one of the greatest guitar players ever,
mm-hmm.
right? Stevie Ray Vaughan and Eddie Van Halen, two of my favorite guitar players ever, along with Django Reinhardt. But the point is, were they real because they used all of those tools? Okay, so now we're saying we can do this music with these tools, and now we can produce that other thing?
Right.
In reality, who cares? The output is what we're looking for.
The output, that's right. Because you could be an ultra purist and say, well, we need to go back to recording on 3/4 inch tape. No, we need to go back to phonograph records. No, we need to go back to, you just hear someone singing. You're writing notation on a graph or a bar chart.
Using a fountain pen like Mozart did.
Yeah, dipping my pen in the ink, right? I'm the purest musician there is, right? So.
Yeah. No, AI is here to stay. It's never going away.
Mm-hmm.
The genie will not go back in the bottle. It's just like there will always be cell phones or some kind of communication device, and it's never going to change.
Might as well use
just accept deal with it and figure out how to use it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. When you were in high school, if they would have said, hey, look, I've got this little handheld thingy, and what I can do with it is, and they described it, you would have thought they were like it's having an episode or something.
Well, some people, you want to graduate, that could be a black market item. Help me write my thesis, help me write my final draft paper, and get it all done in 20 seconds versus 20 hours of researching and books. And
well, just think of it this way. Okay. Not even the writing part, just the research. Hey, Siri, hey, Alexa, hey, whatever. Can you please tell me, and then just give me cite 25 sources for this whatever thing. And it'll just tell you, right? Oh, great. My thing went on over here.
All good.
We used to have to go to the library and research the books and then find the books, research the index, look at the back in the bibliography and all of the stuff in the back of the book and find the keywords we're looking for, to go find the sections, to read the paragraphs, to see if it matched what we were trying to do. Then Google came along and you could do all that electronically and it would just give you a list. Now AI just gives you the answers. Is that better or worse? Neither. It is just research. It's just research. Because see, the most important question is, what is the question you're asking? Not how do I get to the answer? The key is always in the question. If you want to survive and be awesome in the world of AI, learn how to think about asking great questions.
Learn how to ask great questions.
Learn how to ask great questions. Here's why. If AI has every word that's ever been written in any of these books that I read and love and recommend, right? That means it already has all of the answers to everything that I have. But I can ask it, what about how do these books work together? It doesn't know how to ask that question. How does the idea that Rich Dad, Poor Dad, how did he negotiate? How did Chris Voss use the Rich Dad, Poor Dad ideas to build his FBI career? The AI doesn't know how to ask the questions. It doesn't know how to create. When you ask it, it can make the links, but it doesn't know. It's just got data. You asking the question is the most important part. So if you want to become a great researcher in the future, if you want to survive in the world of AI, learn how to ask great questions.
That's powerful.
And be a fumbling human to do it.
Powerful. I love it.
Yep. Fumbling, stumbling human asking questions.
Just keep failing upwards.
Columbo. Huh. So what you're saying is, now, did he really fall? Did he take 2 steps, or was it 1 step? But I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. If you don't know who Columbo is,
I remember.
You got to look up some of those old TV shows.
Slightly, I do remember a few episodes of Columbo. Yeah.
Columbo basically was just a guy who would look at things and then think about it and ask what you would imagine at first was the stupidest question. Turned out to be the key to unraveling the whole.
Ask the question.
The whole sweater.
Nobody else thought those questions.
Yeah. And that is what you need to do. You need to start thinking like you're Columbo, if you know that. But how do you ask the question? How do you probe the soft spots? That's the way for humans to succeed. And humans are amazing at this. We are amazing at adapting.
And this can work for anything, right? Like not just business. Like, so I'm a single man. I think I would like to not die alone. Like, this is real talk right now. So I could prompt and say, hey, Grok, give me some life advice on how to pick a great future wife, because they say 90% of your life's happiness comes from that decision, right? So this can just about anything.
Well, I can give you one piece of advice so far. Ready? You're in Utah in the desert. There's 250 people around. Guess what? Not a lot of eligible dates in that area. You got to go where there's more ladies.
Go where the fish are.
Go where the fish.
That's a good callback. Yes, I do have to go where the fish are. And it's this, now we're getting a little personal, but for me, it's like bouncing back out of that financial slump. I want to have a little money in the account, so have a little swagger, so that first date can be really nice and not just McDonald's in the movie, but the right woman probably wouldn't.
It doesn't matter. You know what matters? Well, in my experience, what matters is the potential for the future, not the actual future.
The potential for the future, not the. Thank you.
Right. It's not about, I already have a Rolls Royce and a 10,000 square foot house and a portfolio of 25 companies and make $1 million a day.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about that has happened. It's that if that is your goal, which, by the way, that's not all my goals, but I'd love to have a Rolls Royce and I'd love to have a portfolio of companies and I'd love to make $1 million a day. I have more intermediate goals until then, but if that was my goal and I could show a reasonable path to getting close to that, McDonald's and a drive-in movie is fine. It's not, it's never about where you are. It's about the outcome you're shooting at. If you shoot for the moon and end up on the top of Everest, you climbed Mount Everest. Right?
Right.
If you shoot for Everest and you climb the top of, I don't know, McKinley or something in the United States, fine. If you shoot for McKinley and climb up the hill near your house, okay, if you shoot for the hill on your house and you get out of your driveway, better than being at home. But if you only shoot for getting out of your driveway, probably not going to have a lot of dates.
Yeah.
Pick bigger, hairy, audacious goals.
Thank you.
And here's one more thing. In my experience, having worked with thousands of people across the world, 4 different continents, okay? Men who have bigger dreams than where they are always happier moving towards their dreams. Whether they actually achieve them or not, they're happier when they're able to move towards something that they feel is worth their time and effort.
Because progress equals happiness?
I don't know if you even need to make progress. I think you just need to be able to have something that's worthy of your time to focus on. Think of it the other way around. How many men do you know have no focus, no dream, no ambition, no stretch, nothing that they are willing to stand up and go do and fight for? And what becomes of their lives? What becomes of all of the people in their life?
And they just blend into mediocrity.
Yeah, nothing's wrong with mediocrity, but the point is that they just blended in and did not continue to strive for something more. Right? Have crazy dreams and believe they can come true.
Thank you.
And then be willing to focus on what it takes to get there. You will be happier in your life. There is some level of discomfort, but I don't think discomfort and happiness are the opposite. I think that happiness comes from the discomfort of growth. You cannot be comfortable and happy. You're comfortable and bored.
Mm-hmm.
If you're moving towards your goals, you're happy.
I agree.
The happiness is in the moving toward the goal. It's not in the arrival. It's not in the outcome. It's not in the destination. It's in the, I've chosen something that's worthy of my time and effort, and I'm willing to go there. And if you're willing to go there, everyone around you may not understand, but they will admire you for being willing to step beyond whatever you're in. And that's why there's so many things I want to say, but they always come across kind of the wrong way, right? The world is taken over by tyrants unless good men stand up and say no. Right. And the only reason good men stand up and say no is because tyrants prevent them from doing the things they want to do.
I love it.
So if you want to be one of those men who will stand up against a tyrant, you have to go beyond where you are currently. That's it.
Thank you, Andy.
That's my message.
Very wise words. We had a very powerful hour of talking with Andy Wergedal. And if you want to know more about Andy, would you like to share your social media and your website really quick?
Yeah, andyunfiltered.com. If you go there, you can find all the links to everything. Andy Unfiltered. It's a lot easier to spell than Andy Wergedal. Nobody knows how to spell that, but everybody can spell unfiltered. So andyunfiltered.com. Go there, and that's how you can get a hold of me.
Wonderful. I think this is going to be one of my favorite interviews that I've ever done, because I've always enjoyed being in your chat spaces, and I'm honored to have a little more than an hour of your time, and I think our audience is going to feel the same.
Well, I appreciate it, AJ, and look forward to talking to you again. Thanks.
Okay, bud. Have a great night. God bless.
You too. Good night.
Bye-bye.